And I think you've touched on a couple of points there that we actually spend a fair bit of time trying to dive deeply into this idea that the system we're stuck inside of is, it's medieval in its thinking, a lot of it. So, and I think you're feeding into, or you've also highlighted a lot of people are feeding into that vision of how they want themselves to be seen. So, when you have a look at the words that are even tied up with how we have our property, I mean, you get issued a title, right? When you get your block of land, it's called a freehold title, so you get to be lord of your own entity, and then you get a mortgage, which means you're engaged to something till death. So all of these words are sitting right in front of us, and we don't understand how they're used until we actually dive into them. And then how do we then bring back the humanity side of things in amongst the system, which is obviously set up for individual benefit? And that's probably one of those things that we've been trying to figure out the most is you do understand that no matter what you do, if property continues to go up, there's groups of people who are just being excluded from the market. And the idea of people coming together is increasing, whether it's increasing density or co-housing or any of those models. And we have a model as well, which we work on. All of them require more people coming together. And I wonder whether when people understand that Australia has, it might be the second highest rate of mental issues in anywhere in the world, with the exception of maybe the Ukraine, which I think takes number one. It would say that our housing is also isolating us and stopping us from developing as a community. And it's probably only when we have those realizations that our biases and the capitalist system, which have mechanisms for a reason, are actually genuinely impacting on our well-being as a nation, that we might actually say, and it's not everyone, but there might be groups of people who start to say, I need to do something different because I can't continue to create the same, results as what I've done by using the existing system.
Yeah, look, I don't disagree, and I'd never thought about those terms having that sort of etymology back in the past. Of course, but of course they do. Yeah, and I think you're right about people, if people can sort of kind of tie their living situation and the housing that increasingly is and will continue to be, if they can successfully tie that to their mental health, then maybe they will sort of, you might see a resurgence in the communes of like the late 60s, early 70s and that kind of thing, which they don't always seem to go so well, but we'll see. Like there are some successful examples. But I guess to say something nice about capitalism after having slagged it a bit off there is that it at least does allow for that to happen within it. So if you do want to start a kibbutz or whatever, you can do that.